Hello and welcome to the So Here For It podcast. I am your host, Amy Mingin, and I'm super excited to share with you this week the 100 manifestation list. Like, it's all about actually getting clarity on what you want. When I say 100 manifestations, they can be really tiny things and they can be like, universe, show me what you got. And it is as simple as what it sounds. I'm going to talk you through, inside this episode, I'm going to talk you through how to do it, why I'm doing it, why I have done it, and how fast things have moved since doing this exact process this week. So buckle up, get ready. If I were you, I would do this straight away while you're in the energy of it, because things are ready to happen fast for you. There's no coincidence that you're listening to this podcast right now with the ability to be able to manifest something new for yourself right now. Because all possibilities on all levels exist at all times. The only reason why you're choosing your current existence is based on past projections, on past experiences, on past expectations, and that's what's led you up to now. So let's thank all of those experiences. Let's be grateful for all the things that we have in this moment, and let's get real about what you really want. Let's get clarity on what you really want, because if you can start getting more clarity around the things that you actually want, as opposed to the things that you think that your parents want you to have, or the things that your friends have, or the things that society wants you to have, your life changes really, really quickly. Once you figure out what your 100 manifestations are, it gives the universe a really quick GPS retrieval. You know, sometimes when you put something into Google Maps and it's like, you can go this way, this way, this way, this way, it gives you like 4 different ways to go. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could see that way for your manifestations? Well, this is exactly what that 100 manifestations list is. So literally get a pen and paper. This is how you do it. A pen and paper. Write 100 manifestations at the top and then start numbering it. So number 1, put it down. Number 2, put it down. Let whatever wants to come through, because sometimes they're really big things, like manifesting a big overseas holiday, or manifesting a new car, manifesting anything. Like I've really tested, I feel like I'm really testing the magic of this. So one of the things that have already come true, I will talk into those, but I'm not going to share with you some of my other manifestations because I'm holding the energy of them right now. But some of the things that instantly occurred are things like this. I've been putting it in the language of already having it. So it's I have, and then I say the thing. So I have a deeper connection with my brother and my nephews and my sister-in-law. I have a deeper connection with my mum and her partner. I have so much fun with my own family, the kids, my husband. So they're the sorts of things that I have put on there. And I also, I've got a very elderly grandmother, my mum's mum, and she is 92. And I feel her a lot. I feel her thinking about me. And I was like, okay, it's time to go visit Nan. She lives a couple of hours away. I'm like, it's time to go visit Nan again. I get in touch with her every now and then, and now it's time to go visit her again. All right, cool. So I put that on there. I visited Nan. Particularly, there's that really interesting feeling of knowing that someone will transition eventually. It happens so peacefully for a lot of old people once they're really old, right? That they'll pass one day. And so for me, I'm just like, I've got that feeling that it's going to happen. It'll happen relatively soon. So I'm like, all right, I got to say everything I wanted to say to my Nan before she passes. We have a really lovely time. We get to connect. So literally, here's the things that have happened this week. Oh, I also had on there, I want somebody to buy me coffee. And is there anything else that I thought of? I want someone to take me out for lunch. And that happened today too. So, all right. So there's a lot of cool things that have happened. Someone has bought me coffee this week. Someone has taken me out for lunch this week. My Nan, literally, I've got 2 different emails that I use. One is a business one, and that's the one that I use most of the time. That's the one that I give out to people because that's the one I'm checking the most. And I've got a personal one that I check maybe once or twice a week. My nan had emailed me literally on that day when I wrote that thing about her. I was like, well, there you go. And then I got this email from a cruise company that was like, book now your cruise for 2025. And I was like, oh, the story goes like this. In 2019, we booked a cruise to go with our family, an extended family, to the South Pacific, but then COVID happened and we got it all refunded, and, the world changed after that, right? And so it just popped into my awareness again. And I was like, isn't this interesting that I can book this cruise and invite all of these family members so I can have this really great time and it's going to be so amazing. And it literally all fell into place. Like an hour on the phone and I had 4 rooms housing. It's going to be 4 people, 2 people, 2 people. So we've got 12 of us going on this cruise next year and it's going to be so amazing. And that was on my manifestation list. So I want you guys to hear this really well, that sometimes we can think that we don't get to do something or we're waiting on something, but we don't really know why we're waiting. And sometimes doing a manifestation list is literally like choosing to do the thing. And that's what the cruise was for me. That's what it was like. I can connect with my family anytime, and I'm going to do this in an extra way by booking this cruise. And so everybody's so excited. We've all reconnected because I've reached out to every single one of them. I'm like, you want to come? You want to come? Do you want to come? Here's the thing. All right, cool. I've booked your room. Here's the link. Pay your deposit. Like, it's all done. And I think because it was all so seamlessly falling into place, because the universe was like, cool, this is what you asked for. Here you go. Here you go. You've got it. And I'm just like, it really does get to be really, really easy. And so if you're somebody who's in business, do you ever just write down the number that you want for the week? Like, let's say you wanted to do a $5,000 week cash received. Have you ever just written that down and you're like, I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but I'd like for that to happen. And then you start working and you start noticing the opportunities and you start talking to more people and you start showing up in a different way because it has more substance, because you know that the value that you put out there and the actions that you take are aligned to that $5,000 week. Have you ever done that? Well, this is kind of like that. So start to put some of these things on your manifestation list. And my suggestion is to sit there and do it until you have 100 manifestations. I did it while I was at home by myself the other day. And my husband walked in like when I was at maybe number 47. And I'm like, I'm right in the middle of a process. I'll talk to you when I'm done. And he's like, okay, sounds serious. And it was just more the fact that I was in the energy of it. So I was plugged into the universe and I'm like, okay, here is my list. And I didn't want to just stop and talk about something random, even though what he had been at was something very important. I was like, it's not random. But I actually really wanted to talk to him about his thing, but I wanted to be able to give him my full attention. And I also wanted to give my manifestation list my full attention. So that's how it went. And I sat there and how long did it take me? Maybe 45 minutes to write out 100 manifestations. I'm just like, that would be a really cool exercise to do 100 manifestations in 100 minutes. And then you're not overthinking it. I was like, I think that this sort of thing, we get to do this more often. Now, I've already ticked off so many things off that list. It is so good. And I'm so looking forward to being able to share more of the manifestations as they arise, because they've already happened, right? I've chosen that they've already happened. So I'm holding the energy that they've already happened. It's just a matter of time and space aligning with when they've happened, because time isn't linear in my world. Time's one of those things that it acts really weird. When I'm right in something, it slows all the way down. And when I'm in something, it seems to speed up as well. So like, for example, one of my board members, who is my energy worker, I go and see Susie once a month and she does energy work with me and she does body work, and I literally just go into full surrender and let her do her work on my body. And I pay her for 2 hours. And it sounds like a really long time, right? But when I'm on the table, it doesn't feel like a long time, but it feels like forever as well. So that's what I mean about my experience with time. And I would love for you to be more present with yourself, to notice when these flow times occur for you, when there's this sequence of feeling like there's no time, as in like there's nothing, nowhere to be, nothing to do, no identity that you have to fulfill. Because it's in those moments that we are able to manifest so much faster. Because our nervous system, it calms down. And I believe, like, if we look back at some of the more historical things in a spiritual way, not just in how history wants to teach us, look at the history as per spirituality and think about the ancient civilizations and think about the people who would live together in small tribes. Think about how connected they would have been with nature and how much more in their parasympathetic nervous system or rest and digest they would have been in that mode most of the time, as opposed to what happens in today's world. So many people are so stressed, they're not taking out time to rest efficiently. They're not taking out time for themselves. They're constantly on the go. They're picking up kids from school, taking them to sport, getting all their work done, staying up late because they feel like they get no time to themselves. But then this stay up late business like affects their sleep, which then affects their hormones the next day, and they're constantly chasing their tail trying to find energy when all they actually really need to do is get more nature, ground themselves more, be in the sunshine more, eat more whole foods. Everything changes. I mean, I feel like a little bit of a broken record when I say this, but then I'm like, you know what? It's not going to hurt you guys to hear this over and over again, because it is the most important thing that I share. It is part of the core message that I really want you guys to get. And then the other really cool thing about this manifestation list is this. When you work in the quantum, when you work with the universe, when you work with God, whatever you want to call the oneness, source energy, whatever it is to you, it's perfect. Take your time with it. Don't expect things to be instant gratification. So whilst I said these things happened really fast, it was because I was already ready for them. I was already in that transmission. I was already in that frequency. Of course, it was very easy for me to click a button on a website and manifest a cruise. It was very easy for me to do that. But some of these other more intricate things that I've put on there, it's going to be interesting the way that they show up. And one of the things I say each day, it's, universe, surprise and delight me. I'm surprised and delighted constantly. Like I went walking on the beach this morning and a pelican flew past. But it wasn't just any pelican. The pelican was fully stretched out and it was soaring. And you imagine how big a pelican is. Like its wingspan is like over 2 meters. And its belly is like hanging down. But it was skimming its belly on the very, very tiny amount of water as the wave comes in and then the wave goes out. That tiny amount of water that's on the sand, it was flying that low. So whenever something like that happens, I'm like, oh, universe is surprising and delighting me. But I wonder how slow you've slowed yourself down in order to even notice these things. There's something about manifestation and your nervous system and being open to the possibility rather than having to control the outcome. And people like you may have listened to law of attraction stuff before. You might be one of those people that's like, I'm super intuitive and I know how to manifest things and thank you very much. That's cool. And also there's so much more advanced stuff that if you allow yourself to sink into the nuance of what I'm saying, to sink into where is your nervous system, what are your dominant emotions, what is your frequency like, you are going to be able to be at this main character energy and be the full creator of your life. And a lot of people don't ever get to that way. They might get things surprising and delighting them every now and then. They might get an intuitive hit every now and then. But what if you lived in your intuition? What if you lived in your creator style? What if you lived in this beautiful, magical feeling all of your life? It would make life so much easier, right? And then I hear somebody say, it's a logical brain talking, and I hear you say something like, but I got bills to pay, but we live in a 3D world. And that's true, absolutely. And also you can do it in a magical way. You can see that just as like the semantics of life. It's kind of like reading a book and reading the words, but not really taking it in. I think that's what the 3D is like. Versus you read the book and you're completely hallucinating like you're in the book. Your feelings fully feel the book. You're fully seeing it. You're fully immersed in it. You cry, you laugh, you feel it. That's the difference. And I wonder if you were to get into being the author of your life and then step in and be the creator of your life because you're actually feeling all of the words, what is actually possible for you? Because there is always more. Even if you've heard things about manifestation, things about the law of attraction, things about scripting, things about the quantum, things about your nervous system. Yes, all of these concepts have been around for eons. It might not be anything new to you, but perhaps when you first heard it, you're at a completely different place in your life. You're at a completely different consciousness level. And perhaps now you're actually stepping into your main character era. You're stepping into main character energy. And a main character wouldn't just sit back and shut something down. A main character is like, oh, how do I have the most fun with this? A main character is like, oh, this feels really great. How do I make it even better? Because a main character is looking out for themselves, noticing the role that they play, but also looking out and loving on everybody else. They love their people around them. They love the group. They do things on behalf of the group to help everybody else rise up as well. This is the clincher. The main character will never stoop to a lower level. A main character will encourage everybody else around them to rise up. So I want you to notice, where are you rising up? Where are you leading other people? And where are you actually creating the energy of the person who you're becoming? Because that's what is available to you when you do this 100 manifestations list. And I'm so darn excited to share it with you. It's the most simple thing in the world, and I am all about simplicity, right? You hear about all my different programs that I run, you hear about them and you're like, wow, that sounds so simple. And that's because it comes from these massive concepts. And this information has been distilled down to a more simple way so that you can digest it and apply it really easily. That's what I love. That's what I love sharing with you guys. So, of course, thank you so much for joining me today, letting me be in your ears for another episode. I would love it if you could rate, review, and subscribe. Share this episode with a friend who needs to do this, who would love it. And that's going to help me help more people. And that's what this is all about. Let's all be main characters together. Have an awesome day.